Boys, about ready? Okay. We got a minute on the countdown timer. I am around, but not very talkative tonight. I mean, that might change, but no, I'm fine. No, I'm fine. I'm just trying to take some time off of everything. All right. Have to be. Yo, what's going on, everybody?
Yo.
Yo.
How's it going, everybody? Welcome to the Akalades Family Podcast. Just got off of one of our best days in a hot minute, probably since the Trump stocks. How's everybody doing tonight? We doing all right?
Let's go ahead and throw out the disclaimer early today and say everything that we talk about on here is our opinions. They are not financial advice. They just what we think might happen. I know we are mixing it up, and we're going to talk about what might happen this week, right? Because we're switching up to a Monday or Tuesday.
Yeah, so we switched the time. So we're gonna be doing a little bit more. So talking about what we've experienced during the beginning of the week and what we think the outcome of the rest of the week's gonna be. So these are all opinions. Nothing's set in stone. No buy or sell signals. Just what we think might happen. So we had a pretty hot last week, and it rolled in. I mean, it was dead in the beginning of the week last week. Don't get me wrong, it was completely dead. But LGVN just kind of set the tone for this like small cap bio, just on fire right now. So we're in a kind of a sector rotation, in my opinion, where we're kind of running. These low float bios are just flying now. You guys get any of that action on the low flow bios on LGVN numbers? Julian, you guys get any on any of that?
Yeah, so LGVN, I think me and you, the first day it ran up, we played that around 6, or I think you got in earlier than I did. But I rode that up. I paper handed that. I was in for the scalp. But I did make some good money off that.
Paper hand's an understatement. Yeah, for real. What about you, numbers?
No. I unfortunately liquidated my position in Intel today because, as everybody knows, if you're following the podcast, I I took everything out, started back over with 150 bucks, um, and lost my ass on Intel. So I'm down to $40 right now, thanks to Microsoft gave me a little 40% jump on my $20. Uh, so I'm gonna build it back up, but I didn't get to play anything. I played Microsoft real quick today, and that's it.
That's it. Yeah, just hit Microsoft off. Gotcha. Yeah. So yeah, it was. I know you and Julian had mentioned that you've been playing Microsoft for a hot minute, so you pretty much know that stock like the back of your head, then, huh?
Oh man, I watched that thing like dive like right at open, and I'm just like, oh man, new high of day incoming. Like every single time, like, and you just get to buy these like super cheap calls that are like fairly close to where the money should be, because it just like it dives like $3 like out of the gates. Julian's seen it like 10 or 12 times now, I'm sure, as well,
Mm.
and it's just easy money. I mean, I messaged him one last earlier or like late last week. It it dipped like $4 at open. I said you should go calls here, and I pinged him a call, and like if I had money, I would have taken it because it started at 80 cents a contract, and it went all the way to 240 a contract in the matter of like 20 minutes.
Damn. Wow. Yeah, we've been sleeping on the Microsoft. I'm guessing, Julian. I mean, I just think these big float, massive cap stocks right now. I'm a little touch and go with them, because every time I go puts on Spy or any large cap, I always get smoked. But they're always at all time highs. So I'm like, it's just hard for me to buy something at all time high, buy calls at all time high. Just
Right.
like it makes me a little nervous. So I've been leaving them alone. But yeah, this it seems like the market just like heated up. So like last week we were just Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday was just so flat. We can pull up some recaps from last week and we can see how flat they were. Let's see what was before LGVN. Yeah, so before LGVN hit off, we were having a couple big gainers. We had CREX for 50%. BBLG, SSNT, Kern, Drugs, CYTO. We had a couple good day trades, but the day before that, if you look at 1111, we had not much going on. RNXT for 24%, Root for 24%, CGen. So we still got some solid day trades in there. It just was so it's really the options game that's been keeping us cooking. We had the, CGen calls for 100%. And then Julian's just been on a complete tear with his options. TGT for 130%. We had QCOM calls, which I was in on those. The QCOM calls, we ended up clocking. I clocked 400%. He clocked 630%. But yeah, you've been on a complete tear. So what's drew you into the options game? Because I know, when we first met, you came into the Discord. You were more so a swing trading, weren't you? I remember
Yeah.
you were just more so a swing trader.
So I think, I had just started, and me and you have been over this. I just started investing this year. So the most comfortable way for me to trade is really swing trading. I don't, I definitely I enjoy scalps, I enjoy day trades, I enjoy high volatility trades, but for me coming into accolades, swing trading was the bread and butter of my portfolio. Um, but as I started to get, we played Spy that one month and we were really messing with it, and I caught the options bug. And I really wanted to, I could see how little you could really put into a contract and make, 10%, 20%, even 100%. And so I really, learned the Greeks. I learned, striking dates. I understood, implied volatility. And, with that, I mean, I've just been, like you said, I've been on a roll. I mean, knock on wood. But yeah, for some reason, plotting resistance on some of these, big name stocks. They make huge moves at open, and they can, print you, 100 to 200% in the first hour of open.
Yeah,
So
it seems like that market open snag on options has just been paying the bills. We got Roblex on here, RBLX for 479%, QCOM again for 100. Like it just puts our day trades to shame here.
and you
Amazon
got Amazon.
229, yeah, like it's
And so MU, we swung. I think we swung that into Friday. I'm pretty sure it was either Friday or Thursday, and we swung. No, 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 no. That was on Monday. That was so I had thought MU was going to be a nice swing for the week, but we shot up 100% at open. So
yeah,
you know,
Jesus,
and then
Jesus Christ,
ASTR, their rocket launch, that netted. I think
yep,
contracts went about 200%, and
the
then we
ASTR
scalped some.
swing.
And then we
Why isn't
rode
that
that.
on the? Why isn't that on? Oh, here it is. No, it's not
It's
on
at the
the.
bottom.
Oh, here it is. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Swing trades for because I forgot we started doing the option swings now. ASGR 217%. Jesus. Yeah. So it's you've been on a tear, man. If you guys are listening in here and you're in the Discord with us, and that's another thing we got to touch on. If you're listening and you're not in the Discord, hit the link below. Join us, supportive group of traders working together, reaching some financial goals and building some wealth. So definitely join us, but don't sleep on the options chain. If you don't know enough about them yet and you're afraid to get into them, pull, Julian aside, or you could pull me aside. You could pull, Numbers knows enough about it. Pull one of us aside. We'll go over a little bit of the basics, and definitely don't sleep on these options because Julian's just been on a freaking tear with them. I've been sleeping on them for sure. And that's I'm looking now over these recaps. I'm like, what the fuck am I doing over here?
And so for
scalping
today,
scalping for 10 cents, and he's pulling 300, 400% fucking option calls.
so for today, I just wanted to throw in we hit XPEV for 433%. We hit Neo for
Jesus.
300%, and we hit Netflix. So XPEV and Neo were both calls. Market open calls. Entry on XPEV was like 90 cents. It ran up to 475.
Holy
Neo
shit.
again 40 cent. And everything dumped at open. So the thesis behind the calls, no one it was hard to predict that these things would run 400% today. And then we rode Netflix down on some puts, that was about 305%. So that was today. So
Jesus.
if
So
you're
you were acting like 1,000% in gains on 3 calls.
just yeah, if you're watching the YouTube video, link in the description, and definitely come check out the options floor.
Yeah, Julian definitely is a little lonely in there, so you guys got to start joining him in that options chain. I know a few people have been straggling in there now. I see what's her name, Hannah. Shout out to
Hannah.
Hannah. She's been popping in there, learning some options, getting in on some of the action. You got Ewig too. He's been getting in on it, so we got some people joining in on the action, which is good to see. But yeah, today. So today we actually yesterday, right? So we've been witnessing this like market melt up, right? So I wanted to talk about this. So you see like this SPY, right? It's just been on this low volume past 3 weeks, 2 weeks, whatever it is. Let me pull up the SPY daily here. And numbers, if you can pull up the SPY for the for the YouTube video too, that'd be great. I'm gonna pull up the daily here. So if you look at all these candles going up, right, it hit that 226, 426 area, it had that inverse head and shoulders, and it's just been this low volume melt up on the market. The first couple days were big volume, right? 70 mil is usually the average, I believe, on SPY, 70 to 80 mil. But then you just see like 40 mil, 45, 50, 48. 60. You see this like melt up of just slow volume coming in, and then we got that news on Jay Powell, being reelected, and I was sure that that news was going to send us, just completely send us, and it did for a second. We sent up to a new all-time high, right? Yesterday hit 473, and then it just knifed like. What are we talking here? It went down from 473 to 467, so we knifed like 8 points almost, or not 8 points, 466. So what do we come down on that? That's 4, 5, 6. So that's 7 points, right? We dropped 7 points in literally a couple minutes. Like it was the biggest dump we've seen in a hot minute, and one 5-minute candle just dumped. And this is why when you see these melt ups like this, I wanted to go over this a little bit because this has happened before, right? We saw that if you look at the last little pullback here, it was very slow, low volume on the way up the last few days, and then it just dumped. These melt ups, they end up going down double the speed that they go up. So I just wanted to go over that a little bit. If you're trading large caps, I'd keep an eye on the SPY. The daily is looking a little bearish right now. It did hold this support level though. When it did come down today, it came down to 463-ish, right? Was the low of the day. And it bounced right off. Let's see what the low of the day was. 464-ish. Oh no, 462. Hit 462 is the low. Or no, that was the other day. So yeah, 463-ish. It held this, or 464-ish. It held this support line. So it's holding for now, but I would definitely keep note of that. The hourly and the daily are looking a little head and shouldery. So definitely you trade large caps. I'd keep watch on that. But the small cap market, man, today was something else. I mean, how many scalps you think we took today, Julian, before you ended up dipping out? Probably like 30.
Yeah, we took in an hour, dude. We probably I wouldn't even I don't even know. We took a lot. We took
Yeah, it
a
was
lot
pumping. And shout out to Wonder. I think he alerted what 4 or 500% plays today.
on fire. That man is.
Off
You
at
know what?
least
We had a
4.
conversation. He said, I haven't beat with this option, these percentage gains. So he's showing me up on that one.
He came into work. He's seen. So I can actually tell you right now, if I'm going down all my order statuses, like all my orders from today, and
Mhm.
just today alone, like I can't even count how many orders I put in between canceled and filled, and long to short. I mean, we're talking like 50 orders here, like minimum, just throughout the day. I was a little slap happy today, but yeah, the market presented itself with a lot of swings got crushed. Ader, we're swinging Ader, got crushed. A lot of swings got crushed. If you go down the list, so many stocks just got smoked today, but these low flow bios have just been on a tear, and we really milked it. I mean, we had APVO was definitely over 200%, 180%, something around there. We haven't done the recap yet, but somewhere up there. Wonder alerted that at what, $5, $6, and it went to 20.
Mhm.
Where is that one at? $7.90. Alerted it at $7.90 and it went to $20. Went to $22. We had QLGN $1.60 to, where did that thing land? That thing landed
A little over $3.
325. And me and you scalped this quite a few times. CRXT was a nice pop. Oh, the PTPI swing, Bookworm and Wonder swing. That thing was, up at one point like 300 and something percent. We had, and that's another low float bio. We had ISPC. We ran up and then we shorted it down. We had it on a day trade yesterday for 160%, and we shorted it. I'm still in a short on it right now, and it's been tanking all after hours. Let's see, what else did we have today? We had a KTTA. That was the big one, right? So KTTA at $2.40, and it clocked over $8. Went over $8.50. So from $2.40 to $8.50. I don't even know the math on that right now. Like, it was just crazy today. If you're not getting in on this action, if you're too scared or whatever the case is, definitely, I would suggest starting to figure your rhythm out. While it's hot, we got to take advantage, especially with the low volume of Thanksgiving coming up. Usually this week is like a low volume week, and we see a day like today. You got to make sure you capitalize on days like today. Then we had the VLAN, right? VLAN at the end of the day, it was a nice 40%er. Neuro 2 we hit for a good gain. I mean, we were just killing it. ALZN, me and you traded ALZN probably what, 5 times, 10 times today.
Yeah, yeah, we saw that right when it broke too.
Yeah, early.
So we got in early.
Yeah, there was
Yep.
no volume. It was like I think it was like 500K in volume when we took it. Ended up with like 50 mil in volume by the end of the day. But Let's see here. Yeah, let's see what the volume was. Oh, I guess it wasn't that high a volume at the end of the day, but still, we've seen it pretty early, and it ended up popping up over 330, or not 330. Where I'm on the hourly, my bad. 230, 234. So it was a fire day. Numbers. I don't know if you traded besides that Microsoft put, but it was killer today. I think we lost him.
So Mike, I wanted to ask you a question. You had mentioned like all the volatility with SPY and everything. And for those new traders out there who are kind of scared to jump in and they might be swing traders or they might be those low, smaller accounts. What are you doing to combat, all this volatility, and where can some of these new members and new traders look to put their money in some trades?
Yeah. So like I was talking about before, that the market melt up, right? It just slowly, gradually climbed, and then just kind of collapsed the past 2 days. I mean, we did see that all time high before it did pull back, but with all this volatility, a lot of my swing trades are getting smoked, and the way that I, kind of hedge my losses on my swings is I'll day trade a lot more. I'll take a lot more, scalps and day trades. I'll size my sizing will be a little bit different when the market's like this. If I have a high conviction scalp, I've been using, a new strategy the past 2 weeks, and it's been, doing wonders to me. I've got kind of just cleared my screen of all the lines, all the EMAs, the MAs, and I've just been using VWAP, and I've been reading the tape and watching for the volume to on each candle, make sure it's consistently, gradually climbing. And that's kind of how I've been taking my scalp trades. So I've been taking a lot more scalps to kind of combat my losses on my swings. Because like I said, my swings are getting crushed right now. Aider, I'm down like 20. And I don't want to sell on these red days like this, because I feel like, I already went under my usually my stop loss on a swing is about 15%. And if I have a high conviction swing, I won't use a stop loss. And then I end up in a position like Aider where I'm down 20%, but I've been throwing profits into it to average it down. But a lot of it is just, risk management. You got to keep tight stop losses. I'll keep a tight stop loss. Like, you've seen today, I'll stop out at 1% when I'm scalping these big runners.
Hmm.
And also studying the market. I look for the rotation. So like I kind of had a feeling we were going into a bio theme, because I have Renaissance Macro that I follow, which is it tells me the macro trends out in the earth, out in the country. I see um, you know, upstate, I think it was upstate New York, just had a mask mandate. Buffalo, right? So I seen that. You see things out there like, the coronavirus coming back, or whatever you want to call it. They're mask mandating up. So I had a kind of a feeling we were going into the bio theme. I didn't realize it was going to come in that hot, but that's one of the reasons why I took Dare as our 1K challenge swing. Because I knew we were kind of, hedging into that low flow bios. And if you look at market trends, like the last time we were in a hot bio market a couple months back, the rest of the market was shit. So it
Hmm.
seems like every time we transition, we rotate into the bios, that the rest of the market gets hit. All the tech gets smushed. We also have EVs that have been, pretty hot, and it's really not so much EVs like um, Neo's been kind of hot. Neo trains in a range. We have Tesla's been, down and up, but it's really just the new IPOs that have been so freaking hot. The EV IPOs like Rivon, right? Rivon went
Hmm.
from what did it IPO at $70?
75 bucks.
Yeah,
Yep.
and it went to $175, and then we had Sev. The Sev was a play that we took last week, went for over 100%. Then
Hmm.
Light M, which is a lithium company that's not technically an EV company, but EVs use lithium, so it fits the theme. And what I've been doing with the IPOs is I'll watch I'll have on one screen the IPO I'm trading, and then on the other screen I'll have Rivian up on its first day of IPO, right? And I'll watch for the same patterns to form, to look for the same kind of trend. But yeah, so it's been a lot of low flow bios, and these EV stocks have just these EV IPOs that have just been so hot. So I've been taking advantage of those to hedge my losses on my swing trades, but I'm down my unrealized losses on my swing trades. But it's definitely not the easiest market to trade in. I'll tell you that much. This isn't 2020 where you could just kind of take any play and you'll make money on it. This is definitely a hard market. If you don't have the scalping skills like we do, I definitely suggest. This is a scalper's market. I definitely suggest you ask questions. You learn. Like I do a lot of bracket orders. So what that means is I'll do a large buy, right? When I'm about to take a scalp, I'll anticipate a move. Like let's say I'm anticipating a move through VWAP, right? I'll take a large position and I'll already have my sell order at VWAP for half of the position and then a sell order above VWAP for the other half. So I'll bracket order it. Everything's already in place, so it just executes on its own. And then I have my stop loss about 1% under on my scalps.
Nice, nice. So, what are your predictions for the market in the next coming days? Do you think bios will continue to run up, or do you see a change in theme for the market?
I think we're gonna have a low float bio run up for the next couple weeks. I think we'll be seeing these low float bios just chug all through December. They're just heating up. We're like only a couple days into the rotation. Um, it's just been these bios have just been so hot. KTTA, right? It ran so hard. We had LGVN. We've got even in the after hours right now. Another bio just popped. BIOL, right? BioLace just popped up in the after hours. It's a penny stock. That's a what's it called? A low flow bio. LGVN is not giving up. Look in the after hours right now. LGVN is the second
Yeah,
top
it's
runner.
it's ripping. I think it's up
It,
20%.
it won't give up. This thing won't give up. Like it just keeps going. So, I plan to just keep capitalizing on these low flow bios. When a sector rotation happens, what I like to do is if I like want to swing, which this isn't really the best market to swing. Like I'm gonna keep my Aider and I got my Dare, which has been holding up well because it's a low flow bio, so it's gonna hold up well when the rest of the market's shitting. And because of it fits the theme, and that's about it on my swings. I got out of FCUV yesterday, and I'm not going to really want to take too many swings right now unless they're a low flow bio swing, and even then I would need to have high conviction to take a swing. So I'm going to be more so just gauging, waking up early, hit the scanner, see what's popping. If it fits the theme, I'll be on it. Like this, there's one of these top gainers, GAME, right? It's Engine Gaming and Media Inc. It's up 30%. This won't even be on the top gainers list tomorrow pre-market. This thing will sell off just because it doesn't fit the theme, in my opinion.
So speaking of bio swings, I know Wonder called MNOV earlier today at about what 340 or 350, and I think in after hours we saw it go all the way to 6.
Yes,
So
I
right
was
now
in.
it's sold off. It lost all its gains and it's actually down 5%.
Oh
What do
wow.
you think about a potential swing trade entry around these levels?
So right where it's at right now, I wouldn't take a swing on it. But if it can come back down to this three, it kind of builds the support today, right? So it bounced off a 350 quite a few times. It hit 370 a few times as a resistance level. And then it also tapped that as a support. So if it can hold the 370, 350 level, that's I think is a great idea for a swing trade, just because it had the market, it had the heat on it already, right? Popped. I'm also looking at ALZN as well. I'm going to be looking into that because it's sold off all its gains too. So it's in oversold territory on the daily ALZN. This one on the daily, if you look at that daily candle, it kind of just busted through. It was all the way at $3, but yeah, if it can hold that what is that 350 to 370, and if you look on the daily, that was an old support resistance level as well. If you 350 area, so if it can hold that 350 level, I think that's a great entry on for a short term swing because we've been seeing like PTPI, right? It had its pop a couple weeks back. It sold
Hmm.
off most of its gains and then it just went parabolic from yesterday into today. LGVN has just been on a tear. We swung that early. We were probably the only team in LGVN, at the absolute bottom. Like, we got in before there was any volume on it. The candles weren't having any volume in them. They were just spread apart little dots, and it gets the FDA approval, and it just rocketed over 1,000%. So I think that's a great, move on Wonder's part. He held his position. He didn't sell. I mean, he might have sold the top now. I know I don't know what he did, with his position, but I do know he was in the low threes. So if I was in the low threes, I wouldn't mind swinging it, but I probably would have sold that $6 top.
Yeah,
But
for that 100%, I would have,
yeah, I
and
would
then
have
you could
sold
buy
that
back
top.
in. So I know it's reacting off this news because I think there's an analyst price target of $27.
Yeah, I seen that as well. Yep, the $27 price target. So yeah, those price targets definitely, they hold a little bit of weight, but they're not, obviously you're not going to be really looking for 27. I mean,
Right.
we don't even know anymore in this market because LGVN
This thing
just
could
went
run
from
to
$2
70.
to $45. So, it
Yeah.
could run up there. But if it pulls back to that 350, 370 level, I'll definitely take a stab, especially if Wonders, got high conviction on it. I don't even need to really do DD when that guy tells me he's got high conviction. I just slap it. You
Right.
know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
What up? So, and I tell people whenever I see like a stock analyst, I'm like, yeah, maybe in the next 5 years. Like it'll get there, but it's not going to be anytime soon. Not like in the time frame that we trade.
yeah, not going to be in a week, 2 week, 3 weeks. It's going to be there in a couple months, couple years, not even a couple months, couple years. But who knows anymore with these, with LGVN, it didn't get a price target lift, but it went from $2.85, and in 4 days it hit $45. Like and it was a low short float. It wasn't a huge short float, so it wasn't a short squeeze. There was no options on it, so it wasn't a gamma squeeze. The thing just fucking rocketed for
But
this FDA approval.
the thing has like a micro float, right? That
Yeah, it's a
stock.
one
Yeah.
1 mil or 2 mil float, but what it was is it's an FDA approval. But see, this is where you gotta, kind of learn the market, how it reacts to certain news, right? So a lot of FDA approvals have been getting smoked. What was that stock that I called today, Julian, that we're swinging now? I don't even know what it was.
AA.
AADI.
Yeah. Yep.
AADI gets an FDA approval, and it immediately pops and tanks, right? LGVN gets an FDA approval. So what's the difference? The difference is what the FDA approval is for. The FDA approval for on LGVN is something that there's no other drug in the market or treatment in the market, and it's groundbreaking, right? So we're looking for FDA approvals on groundbreaking um, drugs and treatments. So this AADI FDA approval I didn't really look at too much into it, but it might not have been like a groundbreaking, you know, um, approval. It might have just been like something that's already on the market and they just got approved for, another drug. So you know what I mean? You got to kind of defer through and see what's going to actually go. But I still wouldn't have said LGBM was going to go to 45 off that news. I thought $9 was the top. You literally could have entered on LGVN at any point in time that day that it was up 170% and just held it, and you would have made money. You could have bought the top that day, $9, $10, whatever it was, $12, I think it was. It hit the top in the after hours, and you still would have made over 200% gain.
Hey, so I'm reading chat because I stepped away for a little bit. Someone said, just wondering why you wouldn't enter small positions for swings in a down market. What were you guys talking about?
So I was just saying that while the market's getting hammered right now, and it's really just low flow bios that are running, is that I didn't say I wouldn't take a swing. I just said I'd be super selective on what I'm swinging. So if I'm going to take a swing trade, it's got to be super high conviction. And I'm talking low flow bios, right? I'm talking other sectors, and tech's getting slaughtered, right? All these stocks are getting slaughtered. ADR right now is down. All of our swings are pretty much down except for the low flow bios. So all I'm saying is that I'd be super selective, high conviction. If you want to buy the dip, but make sure you have high conviction on that stock that you're buying the dip on. Don't just buy something to buy it and swing it. This isn't the market to just buy anything low float and it's going to run like 2020 or even a couple months ago when everything was just flying. That's all I was saying. Maybe I came off wrong, but I didn't mean don't buy any swing trades. I'm just saying be super selective, do your due diligence, really take a deep look before you decide to buy something, because this might be that we still might be on the top. We might not be at the bottom of this dip, that you could be buying the dip for quite a while is all I was saying.
Got it. Got it. Only buy what Wonder tells me to. Got it.
Yeah, exactly. If you're gonna if you're gonna take a swing, take one of his high conviction swings, and you'll be all right. But a lot of what we're swinging right now are going to be more so bio stocks, because that's what's hot. So if you want to find a low float bio that hasn't been hit yet, by all means, that's the sector that's running. That's what I'd be doing, is looking for a low float bio that hasn't ran yet, that's got something in the pipeline coming up with, before December ends, and I'd be loading up a boat. That's why I'm in Dare right now. Dare's got an FDA priority review in December for, I'm not going to go into the treatment, but if you want the DD, hit the link and I'll send you my DD on Dare, and it should make a nice move into the end of December. Got anything else for me, Julian?
Yeah, I mean, since I guess we're on the topic of, what to do in this market. What is your routine? Because I know you're in a different time zone than, when the market opens. So how do you manage? And for other people who might live in different time zones where the market open at 9:30 Eastern time might be a couple hours earlier. What's your schedule like? And do you enjoy getting up early
Do
to
I?
trade the free
But
market? Or
before Mike answers this, I'm just going to preference it by saying neither me nor this guy sleep. We are on until like 2 a.m. in the morning, and markets open at 4. And then we're both like, okay, we're gonna go take a nap, and then we come back and market opens sometimes. It's crazy. But what is your day like,
Pretty
Mike?
much, yeah. I mean, you kind of summed it up, but yeah, it's hard because I got my baby as well. She's a little over 16 months old. I mean, she sleeps through the night now, but she used to not. So it was a blessing and a curse, because I'd already be up for pre-market. She would have woken me up needing a bottle or whatever the case is. And I try to get to bed at 9:30, but that never works. So, I lay down and then I end up, texting back and forth with numbers, or I'm texting back and forth with Milopo, or I'm texting with Heat back and forth, and then I end up, I'm charting stuff, and I'll get sucked in, right? Or I'm listening to a podcast, and I'll get sucked into, study time or whatever, and then I look at the clock and it's 12 o'clock, and I'm like, okay, well, pre-market opens at 2, right? So I might as well just stay up these 2 hours and wait for the pre-market open, and then I'll go to sleep after the pre-market opens. So a lot of the times I'll stay up through the night, wait for pre-market to open. I'll watch the pre-market open just to kind of get an idea of what's going that day. And then I'll take a nap from, 2:30, 3 o'clock till, and about a half hour before market opens, which for me is 6:30 market opens. So I'll take a nap until like 6, and then I'll wake up and I'll really scan. Very rarely do I take positions in the pre-market, and it's kind of this week. It's kind of been my downfall, because a lot of our big runners start in the pre-market, and I've been so used to this 2021 market where everything flushes right at open. We've seen more times than not that everything that's running in the pre-market flushes at open. So I used to like to buy that flush and then I'd ride it back up. But right now, KTTA just fucking chugged right out the open. We had all these runners today that just ripped right out the open. So, maybe I need to wake up a little earlier and start trading the pre-market a little more, because, things are moving in the pre-market a little better right now, at least the low float bios. But usually I'll sleep until about a half hour before pre, wake up, find what's got all the R vol, what's got all the relative volume, and then I'll milk that play all day. Especially lately, the past 2 weeks, I've just been kind of scalping the same play all day long. I'll find one big runner and I'll just up and down, short to long, long to short, scalp it all day.
I feel like the last time you bought something in pre-market, you might have said something in the chat like, "I bought this in pre-market and I woke up with bags."
Yeah,
I can't remember what it is.
That's usually what sums it up. What happens, most of the time this year when I buy, something pre-market, I'll wake up 2:30, something pops and it looks good, and then I'll take a small, thinking, I'm gonna wake up huge, and then I'll wake up and it's, I'm smoked. So I try to not do that as much, but it seems like that's the theme right now with these low float bios is they start in the pre and they just run for the the remainder of the day. What about you, Julian? What's your morning routine look like?
Um, so it's closed. I normally won't trade after hours. Um, my morning really consists. I get up around. Well, the dog wakes me up at 4, so I always check the pre-market. I always see what's running and what could see continuation for open. But usually I go back to sleep, and I really don't take any plays until 9:30. Recently I've been getting into these options, so for me, my bread and butter is 9:30 to 10:30. So that's really my day. I mean, I won't you know be up at 4 in the morning trying to take a nice 50-80% weird pre-market pump, but you know that's really my day. I mean, I have I think you can see in my profile picture my son. Sometimes I'll get off early and I'll go over and spend some time with him and his mom, and yeah, pretty much it. Family
Oh, the
man.
the beauty of financial freedom, huh?
Yo, Wonder, almost called you Wonder. Yo, numbers,
Oh
numbers.
God, don't do that.
Yo,
Disrespect that man.
is the Do you know if the YouTube is it still echoing? This guy, one of the guys in the chat, just said it's echoing.
No, he said it. I think
Oh,
it's
he
good now.
said we're good. All
Yeah.
right, we're good. All right. Any other heaters for me, Julian?
Um, nah, I mean,
I got
numbers.
something for you
What's
because
up?
it's something you said earlier. You said low flow bios are running, and then you prefaced it by saying the last one that popped didn't have any short interest or like any short interest in it, right? And one
It
of the
was it.
things,
It had a little. It had a little bit. I was talking about LGVN. It was
yeah,
not like a massive short float though. No, it
yeah,
wasn't a short squeeze.
and one of the things I kind of wanted to touch on is, um, big banks are getting very stingy, we should say. Like they don't want to give up on their positions, right? Like we've seen it more and more ever since AMC and GME happened.
Yep.
And everybody's all the apes, the zoo is walking around looking for all these high short like
The
stocks, right?
zoo
And
is
they're just
walking.
right. That's what's happening. Everybody's walking
I
around
know.
trying to find these high short interest stocks, and they're just buying into it to pump it. But like these guys didn't take these short interest plays because like they thought they were good companies and they just wanted to run it into the ground half the time,
Yeah.
right? So like it's a good thing to point out that like these high short interest stocks are not good plays all of the time. Um, and so if you find a low micro float that doesn't have high short interest, it's probably going to naturally run. And the best part about it naturally running
Mhm.
is you won't have the big banks in there manipulating it and shorting it to protect their positions.
Yep. This is all true. That's why we were saying in the chat too, is because pre this run up on LGVN, it had like a 2% short float. Even now, after it's tumbled $25, it's still only at 7%, 7.35% on the short float, which is not a lot. It's not enough to squeeze. And that's hard facts right there. If you take a low float stock that has a small short float on it, odds are, as long as you do your DD and get, you confirm it with your DD, odds are it'll run up naturally just because there's nobody stuffing it down. You gotta these low float, high short interest, high short float stocks. I see them all over Weeble. Every time there's a run up, I see in the Weeble comments, short squeeze, we're squeezing them. And it's like, dude,
Oh my god, drives me.
there's 1% short float. Like, what are you talking about? There's no shorts on this. Like, this is not a squeeze. This is just a parabolic move. Like, it can be a parabolic move. Everyone got long on LGVN. The hedge funds, everybody got long. That's why it went to 45. Not because it was a short squeeze. It was because the funds, the banks, they all saw an opportunity, 1 million float. They could pump this thing up as much as they could, and they made probably billions of dollars doing it. They don't need
Right.
to short everything because they're not going to short groundbreaking FDA approval when they know that it's a 1 million float. It's just gonna, that would have just fucked them. Instead, they got long, and that's why it ran. And we've seen Prague has been squeezing, right? Like, we can go in all day about Prague. You can get whoever you want in here to defend it. Prague is a shitty company. That's why it was. That's why it was getting shorted to oblivion. It is not a good company fundamentally, so it got shorted to oblivion. And yes, the zoo attacked and they won, and it squeezed to $6. But I think we just saw the top on Prague. I think it goes back down. It's not, it's not the best of companies
I
to
mean,
be
yeah,
investing in
but
long term.
Prague also it did the same thing that GameStop did, and it seized the opportunity of the apes hyping it, and it went through a massive restructuring of everything. Like, anybody that's been following Prague, I pretend to not follow it, but like, you almost have to, right? Like,
Yeah.
um,
I pretend to not follow it too, but I still look at the chart, a couple times a day.
yeah. And that being said, like, it's a completely different company than what it was being shorted the out of like existence at 85 cents like a month and a half ago or whatever it was.
Yeah, 66. Yep.
But like, that brings up another fun thing of like CEI, for example.
Oh my
are
God, that's another one.
are retail traders, in your opinion, and Julian, you can weigh in on this too. Are are retail traders like getting their point across on like that they actually hold any power to the banks? Do you think? Just
Yeah, I
out of
mean,
curiosity.
it was always my belief that retail really doesn't move these stocks. It's all big money. Yeah, I don't know if I'm wrong or not, but I you know what I mean? Like, I don't
Yeah.
see like me, you, Mike, and even Wonder, buying something and pumping it from, $2 to $45. I don't I don't see retail having the financial power to do that. So I
No, the
think
banks got unlimited buying power.
yeah.
They
So
literally got unlimited buying power.
Yeah, but
so
that being
whatever
said,
price
like,
they want.
that was conventional thinking, right? But now we've seen GME, AMC, CEI, DATS, this new one that just happened, LGQ or whatever,
Pro
Prague.
Prague.
Like, we're watching.
LGQN, that was a short squeeze?
No,
Or
no, no,
QLGN?
but no, it wasn't a short squeeze, but it was retail pumping the
Oh, yeah,
stock,
yeah,
right? It
yeah.
wasn't.
So, you know what I think it is we have a lot of these gurus and gurus, right? And they do get spikes, right? It does spike when they alert something on Twitter. Like, we'll give it to them. They can spike some stuff, right? So they can get it to spike, and then the algos will pick it up if it's something that the
Mhm.
algos are turned on to pick up, and they'll pick it up. They'll run it up a little bit. CEI was a different story. Even AMC, we can go back to AMC. Do I think retail had the power to do that? No, I think a hedge fund got behind that and was like, oh, look at all these people short. They're, Citadel, all these companies that were short. And look at retail owns 75% of the float or whatever the hell it is. All I need to do is slap the ask a couple times and this
Mhm.
thing's going to go to 70. So I think a fund got behind that movement and helped squeeze that stock because that's got a 500 mil float.
What?
Do I think retail's got the power to squeeze a 500 mil float? No. Uh, they're not going to squeeze a 500 mil float. That would take literally nobody selling, and I know that people are selling because I can check the AMC average shareholder position, and they're in at fucking $45 now when they were in at $1.20 when I first saw AMC as their average shareholder. So I know people are rinsing and other people are joining and buying their bags. A lot of people that are still holding AMC, I believe, are the people that chased it late and now are just a part of the movement because they got in
They
late.
have to be.
Yeah, because they have no choice because they bought the top realistically. So,
What?
yeah, they did start the movement. They got it rolling on AMC. CEI though was pumped originally. And that's another shitty company that had a lot of short interest. It had a lot of short interest for a reason because it's a scam company. It's a Chinese scam company.
Yeah. What's that? Hedge fund. It's ran by Christie. God, what is her last name? It's like venture. Like they basically invest in like up and coming tech companies that they think will change the world. But I can't think of their names.
Venture capitals?
Yeah,
Maybe
no
I
venture
want to say it started with
capitalists.
an A.
You're not talking about
Are
Kathy
you
Wood,
talking
are
about
you?
Kathy Woods and ARK
Yeah,
Investment?
yeah. ARK
Yeah.
Investments. Yeah, I got super hyped when I first found Verb, and they bought like 400,000 shares like one day. I was like, hell yeah. But like then they
Yeah, and then
just
it sank the next day.
yeah. Well,
Kathy
they're
Woods
still
usually
holding
gives
it,
the stock. It usually gives the stock the kiss of death, though. Anytime I see a Kathy Woods buy it, a couple days later I see it kind of sink.
which is crazy because it's not like they sell out of it. They hold.
No, they don't sell it. She won't sell it. If I pull up the list, she's probably still holding on Verb B. I'm sure she is. I mean, it hasn't ran yet, so I'm sure she's still holding. But she bought what did she buy? She bought, I think it was Planter Technologies one day, and it sunk. She bought Neo and it
Yeah.
sunk right after. Like I used to see that and I'd be like, "Oh, Kathy Woods bought bet," and I'd slap it, and then I would get stopped out, and I was like, "What the hell's going on? Kathy Woods bought this. Don't you guys know this?"
Right? Yeah, it's like
What are you doing? What are you doing? Are you shorting Kathy Woods right now?
well,
But yeah,
you could make the argument that some people on the street, some big people on the street, have it out for her. Uh, but like
I'm sure they do.
it's a whole
Yeah, I'm
nother
sure they
story.
do. Yeah, we could have a whole nother episode on that. But back to the whole short squeeze thing, I do think retail does get the ball rolling on it, but they run out of buying power is the problem. So unless a fund gets behind it and helps them up, it's not going to really squeeze. Like you might see a pop, like we've seen these Twitter gurus all alert a stock on Twitter, and we'll see a nice pop on it, and I've been kind of following a lot of them just to kind of grab short positions on those pops,
Yeah.
on those low volume pops. And, they'll pay. And, if it does start to squeeze, I'll go long on them too. I'm not afraid. I rode CEI a couple times. I scalped AMC on the run up. I wasn't in on the initial run up, which I'm sick about because I did have a $5 average at one point. But, I didn't believe, I wasn't a
Sold at
believer.
13.
Yeah, I wasn't a believer that it was gonna. When it hit 25, I was like, "Wow!" I was clapping my hands. I was like, "They squeezed that thing," and then it kept going, and I was like, "What is going on?" But I think these are all hedge fund battles. One hedge fund will see that someone got caught with their pants down. With AMC, you've seen a couple of them got caught with their pants down. They shorted it to oblivion, and they'll see it. Retail owns a shit ton of the float, and they don't need much to squeeze the stock, and then they squeeze it. But if you look at the numbers, all these big hedge funds still haven't even covered. Like they're not even covering their short positions. Like
Yeah,
they
they
don't even
didn't,
have to.
but they didn't cover. They rolled it over, right? Because they're holding the
Exactly.
same amount of interest, but instead of being like 120 days out, they're like, what are they at, like 40 days or something like that? 60 days out now is like all they are. So they're taking the losses on their old positions and opening new ones, which good for them.
Yeah, I
Like,
mean they've been in it for decades. They've been doing it for 100 years. So of course they've got ways around everything. And until the SEC actually steps up and takes retail side during something like the case we just saw, got thrown out all the charges right on Citadel.
yeah, that's crazy, by the way.
Yeah, so until something like that happens and the charges don't get thrown out, I don't think we'll ever see a real change in the market and how hedge funds go about. Like I was telling one of my friends, my good friends from back home that's in the Discord, shout out to Baron. I was telling him about Robinhood, right? And they do this on Webull a little bit too, right? So every time you get an order, you put in an order, you got paid for order flow, right? And it goes to Citadel and all these big hedge funds, and they immediately open a short up against your long. So when they
Yep.
open that short up against your long and then you get stopped out minutes later, it's on purpose. Like they're literally fishing to get you stopped out, and then they close that short and they make double the money on that position. They make the money for the order flow, and then they make the money for stopping you out and closing the short. So it's like, you're on Robinhood, and even Weeble's, kind of bad with it too. It's just a losing predicament for a lot of retail traders that don't know what they're doing.
And on top of that, it's free money to them, right? Because you're paying for the order flow, and they use that money to open it up. Which, oh
Exactly.
man, Yeah,
So they're
that's
making money doing nothing. They don't have to do anything, and it's free. Exactly. And that's what probably a lot of what funds them, where their money's coming from is probably from a lot of that, the paid for order flow, open the short, stop you out, close the short, free $100,000,
speaking
whatever
of
the hell it
Robinhood.
is.
Has anybody validated the whole Sheeb coming to Robinhood? Is that a thing still, or?
There's been so many stupid Shiba rumors. It's starting to piss me off. I've been holding Sheeb now. I held through the eights. I was up 300%, and I held through it, and it's came back, almost to my entry now. And what's killing it is,
I sold in
not
the
only is
sevens.
I know I should have. I know that's what I usually do. Is right. I'm usually paper handed. I should have been out in the sixes on the way up. But I got hyped up on it. Thought this was gonna be the next dog, and I still got conviction. I'm gonna hold it long term. I don't have a problem leaving this money here. It's not life changing money I got in it. But what's killing the run is not only the large market cap or whatever you want to call it, the large
Yeah,
what's it
because they're burning a lot
circulation.
of it, right?
Yeah, so they're burning, but it's a slow burn. They're only at like 300 million coins burned or something like that. But it's the fact that people keep spreading rumors, and then when the rumors don't come to fruition, people sell off. So it's like Robinhood, that was a rumor. Robinhood never confirmed it.
Right.
There was just a petition going around that people signing it. So when people were saying Monday, Tuesday, whatever day, Robinhood's going to list, and then they didn't list, we saw a giant fucking knife on it. And then you can buy Tesla, that right? Someone DMs Elon Musk on Twitter and says, when are you going to accept or how much Shiba are you holding? And he says none. And then we seen a drop then. It's like, why are you poking the bear? If you're holding Shiba, you shouldn't be poking. You should just be holding, keep your mouth shut, and wait for some real news and, buy the dip.
Yeah. That
Buy the dip.
wasn't that Unusual Whales that asked him that?
No,
I
it was
think.
just a random Shiba
Oh, was it?
account. Yeah, some dude that named Shiba
What an
Inu
idiot.
News or something like that. Some idiot.
But
But
yeah.
I'm super bullish right now on crypto, though. I'm loaded. That pullback was nice. It was healthy, in my opinion. We had that huge run up, all time highs. Whatever, I think it hit 70K on Bitcoin or close to it, 67, whatever it was, and it pulled back to the 50s, and it bounced right off of support, and then it's back chugging up. So I'm super long. I scooped that dip up on a lot of things.
Whatever happened with that last do you remember that last pullback that happened where like every single crypto tanked like 30% or some
Yep.
like
Yeah, and Coinbase Pro wasn't letting me sell, and
yeah.
Coinbase Pro was down for everybody magically. Yeah, I
what
remember that.
what caused that? Did anybody ever find out? I don't follow crypto, so I'm asking. Was
I
it
I think it was regulations.
because I know
Was
that
it?
was the day El Salvador switched the
Yep.
Bitcoin wallet stuff, right?
So it was that, and coupled with I think some China, maybe it was China regulations that time. I forget exactly. That was a couple months ago, but it pulled back hard. I remember I was. I think that was a day. No, that wasn't that day when the market was closed, but crypto was running. It just dropped like a rock, and I remember Coinbase Pro wouldn't let me on to sell out. But yeah, I don't remember exactly what the news was, but I do know that this Bitcoin here, I think we're going to be chugging up again soon. I had a nice healthy pullback, and I grabbed some Ethereum, I grabbed some Matic, I grabbed some AMP, I grabbed some altcoins, and I loaded more Shiba on the dip, and I'm not really too concerned.
You just
Just let
clear
it
all the
sit.
mains.
Yeah, just load them up. One of them's got to make me rich, right?
Yeah, that's what we'll say. Just
Yeah.
you're the what is that experiment that they do every year where the monkey throws the darts at the board for all the stocks? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then they try to beat he tries to beat the analysts for the year.
Yep.
He
Exactly.
usually wins.
Yep, exactly. So yeah, I'm just throwing a bunch at the wall, and AMP already paid off. It just rode. I bought it, and I bought in a like 48.048, and it just ran up to 70, so 0.07. So I got out of AMP not too long ago. But yeah, you buy the dips on them, right? And they run up. It's like a cycle. If you can figure out the cycle on crypto, you can swing and make a lot of money. You Matic's down, but the rest are green. You buy Matic, and 2 days later it's green. AMP's down, and the rest are green. You buy AMP. I just find the red ones, and I'll swing them 2 weeks, and then I got a couple long terms like Ethereum and Shiba, and that's pretty much it. But I think that brings us to the end here, right? We're about to wrap it up here.
Yeah. I was just about to give a shout out to Luna because I popped in the other day and I saw a ton of crypto swings that I think she had posted because she's still on the grind. But
yes,
I can't find them. So
Luna definitely. You can't find the swings?
Dude, I'm losing my mind apparently. But yeah.
Can you see the swing channel?
Crypto. There's crypto trades in the alerts.
No, there's crypto swings also. You should be
there
able
it is.
to.
I am an idiot. It's way down there. I have it hidden because I don't actually trade crypto.
But yeah, definitely shout out to Luna. I know she tunes in. She told me a couple days ago. I'm trying to get her on for an episode. When she's got some free time, we'll get her on an episode and we'll do a crypto episode. But yeah, Luna's been freaking crushing it. So I'll message in there once in a while and be like, Luna, what should I buy? I got a couple grand loose. What should I buy? And she tells me. And then 2 days later, I'm up 400%. I'm like, hell yeah, let's go, Luna.
I got a couple grand loose, she says. And on that note, we're gonna call it. Any parting words, Julian?
No, that's it. I mean, like Mike said in the beginning, if you're not in the Discord yet, it's free, and you can take advantage of some of these trades that we're talking about.
Yeah, hit the link below. It's a supportive community of traders working together to find some financial freedom in these markets. All conditions, we make money, and we find the best setups we can, and we run things like this, the podcast. We got videos coming out. I've got some recorded classes. We got a lot of educational tools in there. If you're watching, you stumbled upon this podcast, hit the link, check us out. Give us a shot. I guarantee you. You'll enjoy the channel. We have a lot of fun in there. We all joke around, and it's a good time. So definitely join us up. And on that note, thank you everybody for coming in and tuning in live, and for all the people that watch it later, thank you. We appreciate y'all. Much love to everybody, and I hope everyone has a great rest of your trading week and happy Thanksgiving. And that's it. Big Mike out.
Over and out. All right, guys, take care. We'll see you guys on the new time, Tuesdays, 7 Eastern time. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for supporting. And we'll see you guys on Discord. Take care.
See ya.
Later.